Sahano bhunaktu sahaviryankaravavahai tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. From the simple principle of cause and effect, the law of karma is derived. And out of this principle, we understand many things. That understanding gives us so many advantages, so many dimensions of life we are able to account for and understand, explain using this concept. Minus this idea, it would be very difficult for us to explain life. So that's why it is very important idea, this law of karma. Now what is this karma says? Your action produces the result. Every action produces the fruit. So you perform an action, that action produces the result. So here we have to understand two aspects of it. One is the result part of it, another one is the action part of it. There are various aspects goes along with action. What are the things that goes along with action is the thought behind it, the motive behind it, and your alertness behind it. Your alertness plus your motive plus your action. All these three put together is standing one side. The other side you have the effect, the fruit. And that fruit is into two aspects we saw. One is perceptible, another one is imperceptible. The perceptible part of it we don't have to worry much about. We don't need anyone to come and teach us. On the very fact that it is perceptible, we don't require any education on that. We require education, we need teaching only with respect to the imperceptible aspect. And the fact that we say it is imperceptible, there is no way that we can understand that. So we cannot use the pramanas, the methods of gaining knowledge. What is a method? One of the method we have is perception, pratyaksha. Another one is anumana, inference. Third one is upamana, comparison. Fourth one is agaami or shabda, tradition, meaning the teachings of those great masters. For understanding the imperceptible aspect, adrishta dimension of the effect, you cannot rely on pratyaksha, you cannot rely on inference, nor you can rely on comparison. Neither perception nor inference nor comparison will be of any help. We have to rely only on the teachings of the shastras. Scriptural teaching is the only way for us. And in that scriptures it is stated that there is an imperceptible effect for every action that you execute. That imperceptible effect is of two types. one is referred as punya, another one is referred as paapa. Then all that gets accumulated. Your accumulated punya paapa, aggregate of all punya paapa put together, is called sanchita, out of which the things which have already started fructification, the things that have started yielding result, is referred as prarabdha. The fresh one that you have acquired, which is experienced in that time, in that lifetime itself, is called kriyamana. The fresh one not experienced in this life gets added on newly to the accumulated, is called agaami. So you can have sanchita, which is of punya paapa. You can have punya sanchita, you can have paapa sanchita. You can have prarabdha, which is of punya paapa. Then you have agaami, which is punya paapa. And then kriyamana, which is of punya paapa. So permutation combination is so much. All this is there, this side. Then comes what I experience in life is nothing but the manifestation or the fructification of the imperceptible is what I am perceiving right now. So factually speaking, they are not two different things. The effects are not two, they are one and the same. Exactly like action is one and the same. As the thought, so will be the action. Isn't it? You can have thought in one direction and action in another direction is not a possibility. There is no such thing. You go to this deeper, psychological dimensions. They say, even when you, what you call a slip of tongue, they say is not really a slip. You meant it. Don't say it is just a slip. Sigmund Freud establishes that. I don't want to go into that aspect. It will take us off. So it is not possible that psychology has evidences are there to prove all your actions are nothing but thoughts grossifying. So then what it means as the thought, so will be the action. Your actions can never be different from your thoughts. If that is case, if that imperceptible thought is what is manifesting as a perceptible action, then the effect side also it has to be the same. What imperceptible effect of punya paapa is what is experienced by me as favourable, unfavourable experiences of life. So what is perceptible is nothing but imperceptible getting manifested, experienced. So in an unmanifest state, it is imperceptible. Manifest state, it is experienceable, which is what we call as certain experiences are enjoyable, pleasurable experiences of life, and the painful experiences of life. Why are you going through that? Because of this punya paapa. How did you get that punya paapa? Because of your own action. My own actions in the past has created my current lot. In that current lot, what I am going through will be a combination of two. This is where we go, point by point by point. You can go on deriving more and more and more here. What is it? What I am going through right now is going to be a combination of what? It will be a combination of two things. Sanchita is yet to manifest. So that I am not going to experience. Agami karma, which is just a freshly acquired karma, which is not going to be experienced in this lifetime. Why? That is the definition we have given for agami. Right? Then what I will be going through in my life? I will be going through another two types of karma. What is it? Prarabdha plus kriyamana. Some of them say agami itself included. Some of them use these two. Agami itself is used for both because it is freshly acquired. But I prefer this because you use a different word, so it becomes easy for you. So anytime you understand agami, immediately understand it as I have acquired in this janma, fresh karma I have acquired, which could be punya, it could be paapa. Remember that. Could be punya, it could be paapa. There's no necessity that it has to be only paapa karma, please. It is including of punya also. Freshly acquired, which I did not experience in this lifetime, which gets added on to that sanchita, new addition into sanchita. Then what I will be going through in this lifetime, I will go through two karmas. One is prarabdha, another one is kriyamana. When I am experiencing a particular situation, when I am going through a particular experience, is there a way that we can decipher whether it is prarabdha karma or whether it is kriyamana karma? There Vedanta says not possible. That you cannot decipher. That you cannot define and say, this experience of mine, I lost my wristwatch. Very valuable one for me. I lost my wristwatch. Is it kriyamana or it is prarabdha? Remember, you can't do analysis like that. Never make that mistake. This is the mistake human mind will commit. See, your mistake is to particularize an experience, isolate an experience and identify the nature of it, the cause for that. Because law of karma doesn't work in isolation. Remember, I have told this already, I suppose. It doesn't work in isolation, nor it works in balance. Right? It doesn't say, okay, I have got X amount of punya, Y amount of paapa. X minus Y is equal to my experience. It's not like that. One punya cancels one paapa, this one that. It doesn't work like that also. We don't know. We don't know how it works. Right? Nobody knows that. If at all you have to understand that, you have to go to these masters and ask them, because the fact that we have stated it is imperceptible for us, which cannot be inferred, no comparison possible, we just become incapacitated to apply ourselves in that particular field. And who has told us about the existence of that punya paapa is the masters, the scriptures. The only option you have is what? Take it or leave it. That's the only option you have. You can't go and analyze that. You can't say, okay, does it make sense to me? It may make sense to you, it may not make sense to you. See, so here the starting point of the whole reasoning is you have only tradition. The teachings of those masters is the only authority for us. So we go back to the shastras and find out what are they saying about it. There they say, yes, when you are performing certain actions, if there is a possibility for you to create a new karma, correct, you must be also having a possibility, has to be there for nullifying the created effect. Right, follow now carefully. I perform an action. Because of that action I have performed, I have accrued a particular punya or paapa. Okay. Now imagine that I have accrued X amount of punya. That X amount of punya that I have developed, I have got, will give me a particular quality of experience. A good experience I will have. What is a good experience? Life will become so easy for me. There are people like that you can account in your own experiences. In every one of us will have that in our circle. There are people whose life is so streamlined, as it were. Right? No easy life. They'll be going through maja only. There is nothing, no big problem for them. Everything is there. If you won't speak to them, they'll say, what is your problem? Contrast also you would have seen people in your own life. In your friend circle, your relative circles, your known circle, your social circles, every one of us will have one person for this, one person for that. Okay. Now, what these masters say is, when I am going through a particular experience of mine, I have the option of reacting to that experience. Isn't it? I go through an experience. When I go through that experience, it is not completed there. Then it is not a cycle. Remember. Then it is linear. Law of causation, we said it is a cycle. Cause, effect, cause, effect, cause, effect, cause, effect. Tree, seed, tree, seed, tree, seed, tree, seed. It is cause, effect, cause, effect, cause, effect. It goes on and on and on. Which means my action has created that punya. Punya creates that experience. Then that experience of mine should have the option of what? Creating further experience or not, isn't it? This is where our purushartha comes into picture. Up to this point, purushartha is not there. Right? Now, I have created this. Now, when I am going through an experience, at any given point of time, we are of two. And both aspects happen parallelly with us. One aspect of one dimension of our personality is the doer. Another aspect of our personality is the enjoyer. Isn't it? Same time. It is not that at one point of time. Analytically, we can say at one point of time I am a doer. Another point of time I am an enjoyer. No. Here we understand we are not living our life as doer. First half of my life I am a doer. Second half of my life is enjoyer. Like how we tell the youngsters. Study well. Work hard. Retire early. Enjoy life. Right? This is the standard advice. My parents also gave that advice to me. I refused. I said, I start as enjoyer. Anyway, you are going to control. Why struggle, study, is that? We divide life like this. You cannot divide life like that, please. At any given point of time, you are a doer, also enjoyer. Technically, what they call as karta and bhokta. Why you are a karta and bhokta together? Because you are having two equipments in the body. Karmendriyas and jnanendriyas are working parallelly, no? Right now, I am seeing all of you using my jnanendriya. I am talking to you all. I am engaging my karmendriya also. Now, am I a karta or bhokta? Prarabdha, I have to look at all of you. If I say prarabdha, and I say good karma, I am saying, okay, punya, I have told you already. Okay, punya karma, I have got so much, so therefore I am able to experience all of you. Or am I a person who is seeing you, or am I a person who is speaking? I am both. Remember, when you are both together, it's all getting mixed up. Remember, scriptures do not complicate it. It explains the reality. The reality of life is it is mixed. You are so at any point of time you may be a karta. Karta means you are creating. Creating what? You cannot do anything with reference to sanchita karma. You cannot do anything with reference to prarabdha karma. But you have the option of creating fresh. What? Two types of karma you can create. What is it? One you can create as kriyamana. Another one you can create as agaami. This option is given to us. When I am going through my experiences, the impact of that experience on my personality. Subsequently, I respond to it. Now go back to the basic study we did in the Traffic of Life chapter, Vedanta Treatise. There he explains life has three transactions. You receive a stimuli, react within, and respond back to the world. I receive a stimuli is the experience. What defines that experience? Your prarabdha karma and your kriyamana karma defines your current experience. And this experience is experienced by me in a particular way. Right? Then, depending on that, I am going to be throwing back response to the world. Now, here they give an option for us. Here they say, if I have the option of creating a fresh karma, they find out if I can add kriyamana, is there a possibility for me to nullify or rectify or neutralize the kriyamana karma and prarabdha karma which I have to go through in this janma? Is there a possibility for that? If you say yes, then there is a new type of karma gets created. New type of actions that we execute. So far we have known only three types of actions. What are the actions we perform? We perform obligatory actions. Nitya karma, regular obligations, daily routine obligations. Then naimittika karma, which is special occasional duties. And kamya karma, which is decided in action. And then you have nishiddha karma or vihita karma, which is wrong action. Right? The fact that it is wrong actions, assumption is we are not doing it. You don't do that action because there is no action for that. Don't do. There is no action actually speaking. Don't lie. Means you don't have to speak anything. Speak the truth is one thing. speak the truth has a positive approach. Negative one is don't lie. What are you going to do there? Be silent. No action there. Don't steal. Don't kill. In don't, there is no action actually. Nishita karmas. And then they say there are positive actions which are wrong. Like consuming alcohol. Right. Surapanam na pibet says, don't drink alcohol. Drinking alcohol is wrong. Stealing is wrong. Stealing is a positive action. Okay. So in Vihita karmas, there are actions which were told you should not do, and doing certain actions are also told wrong. There are two aspects there. Both are there in that. Then you have kamya karma. Kamya karma is very simple for us. I wanted to have ice cream, I go buy ice cream and eat. That's it. That is called the kamya karma. Then obligations. Obligations means there are two types of obligations. One is general obligations. Another one is particular obligations. Then you have various ways of analyzing it. This is one way of analyzing action. Okay. There is another way of analyzing action is also there. There are various styles they do. This is one dimension. Another dimension of going it is particular action, contributory action. That is another style, which is not necessary. Don't confuse many styles at this time. We are just taking one aspect of it and analyzing it. So action wise, if you take, I know actions which are all duties for me. Whatever I believe as duty, full stop. There's no necessity that you have to, if you don't understand what is obligations, you go and consult the master. You go and consult the scriptures. The scriptures will tell you this is what you are supposed to do. Kamya karma, you don't require anybody to teach you. Right? You like it, you do it, full stop. There is no need for any training for that. Then Vihita karma also, there is no necessity for any specific training. Most of it we know it is wrong to do. Right? There's no necessity for a special training to be given. But we do require a training with reference to obligation. Right? Then comes, they say, suppose if you are capable of creating a fresh karma which you can experience in this Janma itself, means they ask this question, is there a possibility for me to create an action which will nullify the effect of this? That action is what is known as prayaschitta karma. Which will nullify. What it will do is, it is not going to, remember, prayaschitta karma is not going to diminish your punya or paapa. It will not do that. Many people think that way. You will think, okay, if I do prayaschitta, all the paapa will go for me. No. It will not delete that, please. This prayaschitta will create a particular atmosphere in you to go through that paapa. Thereby, with the least resistance, you will be able to pass through that state. When you have that least resistance, it is easy for you to get out with minimal damage. Minimal damage in the sense, you don't create a fresh, because the moment you resist it internally, that resistance, non-acceptance which is happening internally will definitely create a new cycle. You start reacting to it. You start responding to it internally. So here, this prashchitta karmas were given in the list. Right? Now, if you go to the traditional texts, they will give the list. But those prashchitta karmas have got nothing to do with you people. Because those prashchitta karmas were given out to the people of their time. Right? Don't take Manusmriti and say, in Manusmriti there are so many prashchitta karmas are given, sir. Now, where am I to perform all that? Who is going to help me to perform all that? First of all, you should perform karma. And then come to, if there is any defect or any wrong thing that you have done there, you do this prashchitta. This prashchitta karma will change, modify which part of your karma? Prarabdha, it will not. It can only have a say in the kriyamana dimension. Why it can say? Because kriyamana itself is self-created. It's created now only. Since you are the one who have created it recently and you have to go through it, it is yet to be classified into any one of those things, you can easily cancel it. But when it comes to this prarabdha, can you cancel that with your prashchitta? No, not possible. You have to go through. But even when it comes to this prarabdha karma that you have to experience, they say do this prashchitta. Atonement, actions. What is that prashchitta? Prashchitta means only this. Means, it is a compound. Chitta, all of you know. Thought, thinking. Prayati means austerity. No, austere thoughts. You put in your efforts consciously with reference to a particular counter. It's like a stone is falling. You, to counter that, what you do? You throw a stone from here. Like they do no Scud missiles. They had anti-missile. What is that? Anti-missiles will come. When the missile is coming, your anti-missiles can go and impact that. But that can happen only with reference to the kriyamana. But the tragedy of life is, which one is prarabdha, which one is kriyamana, we do not know. Therefore, they said, doesn't matter, do this prashchitta. Thereby, what will happen? All that, if it is kriyamana, it will get nullified. If it is prarabdha, it will create a positive climate inside you to go through it. Now, what is this positive climate inside you, sir? Buddha gives a beautiful example for this. He says, what is that? He says, you take a handful of salt. You dissolve it in a glass of water. You dissolve it in a bucket of water. You dissolve it in a lake. Same quantum. Okay? Quantum is same. Same, handful. Means maybe about 10 grams or 15 grams or 20 grams of salt. 50 grams of salt you take. You dissolve it in a glass of water. You dissolve it in a bucket of water. You dissolve it in a pool of water. What is the impact it creates on those things? In a glass of water, 60-70% of it will get dissolved. Another 30% will be standing there because it gets fully saturated. It is undrinkable. In a bucket of water, it tastes salty. In a pool of water, in a lake, you go and drop. What happens there? Nothing happens. He says, these actions, development of certain positive climates in you, developing certain dharmic qualities in you, facilitates the dissolution of your karmas. So as you expand your mind, as you keep growing, what happens? It will be there. It will get dissolved. It is going to be added. But then the impact of that cannot be the same. The impact varies depending upon what sort of a mindset that you are having. In the presence of certain noble qualities, your mind expands. So for the expansion of the mind when you are working on, more and more you go on expanding, you expand to such an extent where you can have any amount of salt. It will not have any reference. Almost, it will not impact that at all actually. You cannot see any difference. That is the right application of Purushartha. So what is application of Purushartha? One, you can apply Purushartha for creating fresh, agami or kriyamana. Or you can engage your Purushartha through this prashita karma, trying to nullify. Three, which is the most sensible way of using Purushartha, self-effort, is to forget about the whole thing, forget about the salt, focus on increasing the quantum of water. That is sensible way of working. Now the entire Shastra says, don't waste your time on this. Don't waste your time. Don't make this mistake of creating fresh. And nor can you say that I'm going to be cancelling one by one. I'm going to cancel. Even if you are spending so much of your time and energy, you are not going to be resolving it. This is what Shankara gave in a very technical way. He contested against this Purva Mimamsaka, saying that Karma Marga will not help you, only Jnana Marga will help you, etc. What is that? He says, forget about it. Don't pay attention to any actions. Keep that aside. Concentrate on what? Concentrate on gaining this understanding. Gaining this understanding will expand your mind. In that expanded state, whatever be this prarabdha gets absorbed and dissolved without making any impact. So long as you believe yourself to be that karta, so long as you believe yourself to be the bhokta, you are subjected to. Shankara said, forget about kartrutva, forget about bhoktrutva. Drop both these attitudes. Kartrutva with reference to action, bhoktrutva with reference to the fruit. Drop both. Is the theme, is what Krishna goes on teaching Arjuna in the Gita. He says, drop it, man. Don't develop this kartrutva buddhi. I am the doer. Don't develop this bhoktrutva buddhi also. I am the enjoyer. You are neither the karta nor the bhokta. You are neither this nor that. Then what am I? You are that pure consciousness. The moment you switch over to that, there is nothing, no impact of any one of those things. So after that, there is no problem. You have moved away from the cycle of karma, cause and effect. Up to this, they'll go, reasoning. Up to this point, reasoning will not be stopped. In the process, you get certain corollaries. In this entire understanding, you develop certain corollaries, certain advantages, certain clarity about life. We get. What is that? One of the things that we get out of it is whatever I am going through right now, whatever experience I am going through right now is either because of prarabdha karma or because of agaami karma, which was created by me only. Last janma's agami becomes this janma's prarabdha. That's all. So, sanchita, prarabdha, agami and all just for a calculation purpose, for analytical purpose we are saying. Essentially, who has created all that? Me. Thereby, there is no possibility for me to blame the third party. There is no third person involved. Somebody sitting and dishing out good experiences for few people and bad experiences for few people. There is no possibility of that. So the moment this was taken out, then what? As karta, I have been performing certain actions. As bhokta, I have to go through those same actions, consequences of the same actions. Why? Because the very agenda of that karta itself is what? The very agenda of the karta is to enjoy the fruit, isn't it? You never perform action without a fruit in mind, without the result in mind. Right? So you are never going to be motivated. That is why result is attached to the karta. Why the result gets attached to the karta, why it has to come into your account, is because you had asked for it. You demanded it. Since you demanded it, it was added to yours. And depending upon whatever you have done, you get it. It could be an investment or it could be debts. If you are making investment, it is called punya. If you are creating debts, it is called paapa. So what is that, sir? Punya paapa means what? Karmic investment and karmic debts. That's all. When I use the word punya paapa, people get annoyed. But when I say investment and debts, everybody understands. Correct. It doesn't matter. As long as you are able to understand, that is fine. But still, I prefer punya and paapa. That is my personal one. As a result of which, what is it? If the past I is responsible for the present I, extending the same, the present I is going to be responsible for the future I. Corollary number 2 or 3. Right. Third aspect of it, what we derive from here is this. Third dimension we derive is, if the past is the cause of the present, then the present is going to be the cause of the future. In that, the past cannot be corrected, but I can concentrate on the present I so that I can create future. If this is not the case, then what will happen? Life will become fatalistic. Nothing can be done, sir. All our life, we are all just a victim. You will start engaging in this victimization philosophy. And remember, anytime you get into this victimization philosophy, wherever there is a victim, you can never have a victim without a villain. There has to be a villain. If you are a victim, question is, who is the villain then? You cannot say third party, because our previous corollary has already deleted that point. If I am the victim, who is a villain? I am the villain, I am the victim. If I am the villain, then a victor also can come to destroy the villain and protect the victim. Yada yada hi dharmasya glanirvavati bharata abhyudhanam adharmasya, says no. I keep coming again and again to protect. Not coming again and again. Same thing. But there is no third party coming, please. Who is going to? You yourself have to take a position of, are you going to take a position of a victim? If you take a position of a victim, then you have no choice to keep on complaining about a villain, unknown villain, without realizing you yourself is that villain. If you can be a villain, then you can be a victor also, hero also, who can destroy the villain and protect the victim. So here straight away what happens, the third dimension of it is, straight away because of this future possibility alone, a chance for you to take responsibility comes in. Otherwise, you can never take responsibility for your life. All your lifetime, you will be crying as a victim. Victim, victim, victim. If I am a victim, then I am the villain. There is no third villain. If I can be a villain, I can be a hero also. That possibility is there. So from here, what we understand, we derive another aspect out of it. If this is possible for me, then what? What is the role of God then? I am the victim, I am the villain, I am the hero. And God is no relevance at all. Then what is the role of God then? This is what I said. The study of law of karma will put us in a really complex situation where God will be totally taken out of equation. That is why Purva Mimamsakas, they said, they don't need God, they said. Why you need God? I do karma, I enjoy the result. What is your problem, man? What is he going to do? God is not going to be participating. They are not going to participate. But it is so interesting to see one thing. This Olympics, we see the world records were broken. Every time you see Olympics, the world records is broken. It gets broken again. It's broken again. Why that is not happening in other places? What difference does it make? That event makes a difference. What difference? The presence of those audience. That is why for this T20 cricket match, we have cheerleaders. What are they supposed to do? Every time this team, the batsman were to hit a 4, hit a 6, they dance. They cheer him up. The cheerleaders are not going to be performing anything. They are not going to do anything. The audience is not going to do anything. The spectators are not going to do anything. It is the training. It is the performance of the athlete alone is going to break. But the presence of those people, presence of that 60,000 people clapping, does something to that person, you see. It gives that. Same way, in the presence of God alone, all this is happening. But is he part of it? He is not part of it. That's what Swamiji gives the example of petrol in car. It is the driver and it is the car that meets with an accident. It is the driver and the car that is saving life. But both the cars wouldn't move without a petrol. But you don't have something called safe petrol and accident petrol. Every time I hear that, I used to get really, inspired. Of all the ideas, this is my favorite one in that example. There is no such thing. But every time we think, we always have God who is functioning exactly like us. That is a God we actually want, isn't it? We want the God who is exactly like us. That is why we prefer. You go and say, sir, so much of problem I'm having. What is this issue? They say immediately, your family deity is angry with you. Why? You didn't make a visit. As though he's sitting there and waiting for you to visit. Right? I'm not saying you don't visit. You better visit. That is a different aspect. I'm saying. I'm not recommending you not to go, please. You better go. By chance, if he gets angry, don't come to me. I can't save you from his anger. But it is so interesting for us to have the thought, the God is pleased with you, the God is angry with you. This God we all want. This God we can relate to. But you can't relate to a God who is neutral to you. That neutrality of God is established. In that neutrality, God's justice is established. Otherwise, you cannot establish the justice of God. How God is justful. Can you establish that? Otherwise, you have to say what? Why few people are like this? Why few people are like this? What is it that this person has done? What is it that this person has done? You can't explain. The only answer you will give is what? Is because of God's will. Why should a God will one person to be born like this, another person to be born with opulence? One person penury, starvation, another person is with silver spoon, they say. Why? For what? Fancy, eh? Just God thought, okay, put him there, put him here. Okay. Then that God is not justful at all. Only this understanding will make us derive this point. This one. Then comes another aspect we derive out of it. Fifth one. Without this law of karma, we will start making, it will be difficult for you to give value for ethical lifestyle. Why should you live life ethically? You can't give answer without this knowledge. Because all of us will say, sir, I have lived an ethical life, but I am suffering. So you will say what? No point in following ethics and all that. Just bulldoze and get things done. The moral code, the value for moral code, we are able to get only because of this knowledge. Otherwise, you will start asking this fundamental question in life. How come good suffer, corrupt we will enjoy? This understanding alone, this understanding is a necessity required for moral order. Otherwise, you cannot understand why. If I am going to be ethical and suffering, why should I be ethical? Right? It's a must to understand. Otherwise, we will not be able to. Otherwise, you have to give, all answers which will not be really a satisfactory answer. God is testing you, is not a satisfactory answer. Remember. Why should he test me, man? The guinea pigs. Huh? Has he taken, I have not signed for that. Now, without my knowledge, imagine someone were to try their vaccination on me. We'll sue them, no? But there are people who volunteer for that. I say courageous people. True courageous. Imagine, you don't even know what is it. And this, they're trying to evolve a vaccination for coronavirus. They have to try it, no? Have you taken? That's why we have this group saying, animal cruelty. They are trying on animals. Helpless. If we are being cruel to animals because they have not signed up to test on them, if God is going to do the same, we have to file a case on him also then. So you can't say God is testing when I have not asked for. Then what justification we can give, what explanation you can give when a person asks, why should I be ethical? For which we don't have a solid answer. A solid logic comes only because of this law of karma. This law of karma, when I understand, only I will be able to derive this. Otherwise, you can never derive anything out of it. Otherwise, you are constantly lost. I have prarabdha karma, I have sanchita, I have this, I have that. All those things are accumulated. Then there is another question which is standing for us. Another aspect. Of course, derivation means, there are so many points are there. I'll give you a few more later. Because right now we have seen about 5 or 6 points. 5 or 6 we would have seen by now. I don't remember exactly the number. So far in my study, in my list, I have about 17 with me. Right? 17 aspects are there, which you can explain only by using law of karma. Minus law of karma, none of those things can be explained. Right? We will see that when we go to this, reincarnation. There are a few aspects which I am not touching now because it will be connected to that. So when we go there, we can see. You add that and plus this, you will have about, 15, 16 points are there for us. I have in my list is 17. I just checked yesterday. For some reference, I saw, I got that. I said, wow. I just, added all that. I said, this, all those things. Suddenly I saw 17 points. Yo. You can't explain minus without this. It is such a powerful one. Derivations out of it. Equation is very simple. Every cause will produce effect. That's all. There are only two things. A simple equation like E is equal to mc square. I don't know anything more than that. Don't ask me to explain. E means energy, M means mass, matter. Is equal to this something they say. C now I don't know what is that. MC square is there. I don't know what is that. Only these two I remember. But you read that. They say MC square. We keep repeating it, but we don't actually know what is the potency of that equation. Same way, it looks so simple for us, but we don't understand the potency of it. Now, another question we have here is, sir, all these karmas are all getting accumulated. You are having your karma, I am doing my karma, he is doing his karma, she is doing her karma, my father has done, my grandfather has done, this has done, that has done. So many jivas are there, so many individuals are there. All those jivas are creating karma, account is there, no? Right? Obviously, we ask the question, where are they getting stored? Where is it? There is one fellow who keeps accountant. Accountant is there for us. We have a fantastic accountant, Chitragupta. His name is Chitragupta. He is the auditor who keeps the account of all this. But where is he keeping? They say that's what the name itself they say. Suggestive name only it is. It's not a person. It's a post. Remember. Like Prime Minister. It's not a person. It is a post. Same way. Here, it is a post. Chitragupta. Chitra means what? Pictures. In coded, it is kept. Where is it kept? What is the warehouse? What is the warehouse of this karma? All this punya, paapa put together, prarabdha karma, this karma, that karma, all that. Where is it getting stored, sir? Is it all this is getting stored in your causal body? That mass of the whole thing is what is referred as causal body. The collection of all that is what is referred as vasana, which is another name for causal body. So out of that vasana comes the thought becomes the action. How has it become vasana? This action which is furthered by your thought, and that thought, the way you are experiencing that creates a particular thought in you. That thought is sustained. When it's sustained for a longer period of time, it again becomes a vasana. It further deep rooted. It gets into vasana again. So vasana, thought, action, experience, fruit. Fruit creates the effect. Effect is experienced by the subtle body. That subtle body, when it is experiencing the effect, triggers a thought. That thought is sustained. That sustained thought gets incubated, becomes a vasana. So where is the storehouse, warehouse? Warehouse of all your karma. Don't think it is somewhere. It is in the, like we say, no, where are all those things are getting stored? They say in the cloud. Cloud, na, where? Can't say it's in the clouds. Even now I didn't understand what's the meaning of the term, cloud. It is in the cloud. The cloud, where is it? Things are getting transmitted. How this is done there? It's kept there. But you can't access it directly. To access that, you need a particular equipment. Only through that equipment, accessibility is there. That equipment is not there, you cannot access it. Same way, you cannot access those vasanas without appropriate equipment, and that equipment is the subtle body and the gross body. So what type of equipment you will be getting is where your vasanas is, that is defining that. This is where the next idea gets into us. It slips into the next idea of birth and death. Why do you have to get that particular body? Why that body itself, first of all? Why you need that body? Without a body, there is no way that you can experience it. We'll explain when we go there. Okay, I'm just leading to the next, topic. That's how this next topic comes into picture. Without that topic, there is no way that we can understand what is the link. So the moment you have this idea of you do not exhaust. See, the idea is what? I have created so many karmas, but all those karmas are not going to be experienced and exhausted in one lifetime. Isn't it? There are so many things which you wanted to do, you couldn't do, no? Isn't it? That's what a man says. At the time of death, every human being regrets more for the things that he did not do. People don't regret much for the things they have done. I don't think I should have done this. I don't think I should have done this. I don't think I should have done this. This is not the regret of many people. Many people's regret is, I wanted to do, I couldn't do it. I didn't do it. I wanted to watch Rajinikanth movie first day, first show, and whistle and dance. I didn't do. What happens to that desire? What happens to that wish? I have created that in me. I wanted to do it, but I couldn't do it. I didn't do it. That karma, that is not going to be left alone. Now what happens to that? Like that, I have so many things accumulated in this lifetime. In this, one dimension is proven to all of us. What is it? That prarabdha part of punya and paapa will get exhausted in this lifetime. That will not go empty. All that will be over. But the kriyamana also will get exhausted. But the other two are there, no? Agaami and sanchita. This agami plus sanchita becomes a new sanchita. Updated sanchita. Total. The total accumulation is going to be there. This part of sanchita which necessitates the next birth. This problem is not there for two people. I'll explain it later, but it is better to state it now. Explanation we can see later. How, why and all that we will see when we study that. Two groups of people will not have this problem. One, animals don't have the problem. Jnani also will not have the problem. What? Animals don't have the problem. What problem they don't have? They don't have the problem of kriyamana and agami. But sanchita problem they have. They have the problem of prarabdha. They have the problem of sanchita. But animals don't have the problem of kriyamana. Animals don't have the problem of agami. In humans, the jnanis don't have the problem of kriyamana. They don't have the problem of agami. They don't have the problem of sanchita also. They have to deal only with what? Prarabdha. Only one they have to deal with. The ajnanis have to deal with what? They have to deal with 4. Animals have to deal with 2. Okay, I'll put it this way. Jnani deals with one, prarabdha. Animals deal with two, prarabdha, sanchita. Humans, ajnanis or samsaris, they have to deal with what? Four things. Agaami they have to deal with, kriyamana they have to deal with, prarabdha they have to deal with, sanchita they have to deal with. All four they have to deal with. But the options are there. Animals don't have certain things. That is why, a policeman doesn't, catch a dog and put a fine. The red signal is there. Why are you crossing? He doesn't. They don't have karma. They don't go through any karma. They are not going to be penalized. Imagine one policeman catches a dog and says you better pay the fine. It is not there for them. You see, they don't have to go through all this. They don't have the other two aspects. They have to suffer only two, prarabdha and this. Jnani has what? Jnani has to deal with only one. Only he has to deal with prarabdha. This will be useful for us when we go through birth and death. Okay, there. That will be required. There. Why certain aspects are not touched upon and all that, there I'll explain when we go there. But in the derivation, we understand all these karmas needs to be warehoused, have to be held in a place. Where it is kept, sir? It is kept in the form of causal body, vasana. Is the warehouse. It's all there, gets accumulated there. That cannot be keeping quiet. It will need to be manifested and experienced, for which you need the body, one aspect of it. Another reasoning we go through is this. In a lifetime, we are not going to be experiencing and exhausting all the karmas that we have created. Then what happens to all that? To experience that, you need birth and death. Therefore, it leads us to the study of birth. The moment you study birth, you have to study death also. Without birth, you cannot study death, nor can you study death without the study of birth. Because they are two sides to the same coin. Therefore, he leads to the next effect, next topic of birth and death.